This is Dave at Active Intel Investigations. Today we're going to talk about Affinity Fraud, which is a fraud case where the fraudster or the Ponzi scheme operator uses their affinity with a certain group to extend the depth of the fraud or extend the length of the fraud. Groups bring legitimacy and trust. So if a fraudster is a member of a group, it could be religious, it could be a neighborhood, it could be an ethnic group, a club, or some other type of grouped type of people or companies, it gives a false sense of relationship between the victims and the fraudster. So just because the fraudster is a member of your church group or your social group, sometimes you think you have more of a relationship with that person than you really do, and that artificially gives that investment or that fraud more credibility. Sometimes you might think that artificially the group vouches for that person. Some of the longest running frauds and more expensive frauds were affinity frauds. Scott Rothstein in Florida, Bernie Madoff, all used their association with certain groups to extend the fraud. So when there's some type of investment being offered or some type of money transfer being presented that has to do with membership in a group or association with a group of people, take a look at that as how much of a factor is that in making a decision to invest in that venture. If a fraud occurs and there's some effort to recover some of the funds or an effort to disband that fraud, the affinity group itself can sometimes be used as part of the investigation to discover where some of the money went, where the assets were concealed, and maybe even other actors that are third-party enablers of that fraud that may have liability to recover funds for the victims.